Hello, and welcome back to the Brighter Podcast. My name is Chelsea.
My name is Batsheva.
And my life is so much brighter thanks to Batsheva.
My life is insanely brighter thanks to Chelsea.
We love to come on here and share tools, techniques, stories, our trials and tribulations in hopes that it will help to make your day and your journey brighter. And before we get started today, diving deep into our juicy topic, as we like to always do, is to arrive in the space by taking a few breaths together. So if you're somewhere where you're able to soften your eyes, close down your eyes, then I invite you to do that. And if not, then you can keep them open and just breathe with us. So exhaling all the air out and taking a deep breath in through the nose. Exhaling out the mouth. Another deep breath in through the nose, filling up the belly, then the ribs, then the chest. And exhaling, letting the shoulders soften, the body relax. And one more deep breath in. And release. Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's funny to be here right now because Batsheva and I usually talk almost every day, and I've been on a little trip and we haven't spoken, so it's like such a treat for us as well.
It is.
And today we're going to be talking to you about something that has kind of been, I feel like, a theme woven throughout both of our lives, which is our diet. And we've had a few episodes talking about different cleanses, different fasting, different
Detox.
Yeah, just different things that we use in our life, different tools, different ways that we try to get our body to be in optimal performance, optimal condition, optimal feeling. And today we're going to share something that's brought us even closer together, which is our diet.
We're kind of calling it our lifetime diet because that differentiates it from 5-day or 3-day or 1-day or 7-day if you're Chelsea fast, or 1 month or 2 month if you're Chelsea detox. Chelsea's like the long distance runner. I'm the sprinter. Or any short-term juice cleanse or something that any of us might do to see optimal results for our health or our body or both, hair, skin, whatever. So I had been searching for a different lifetime diet, a diet that would really support me fully as far as longevity and health, and also feel great about the way my body looks on that diet. And I don't know, am I jumping in like too quickly?
Well, no, I think it's great. I would add to it maybe, something that has kind of been a theme, especially, in my high school years, early college, obviously I was really not doing any diets. I can tell you in college, even in high school, it would be like, I hope spring break is coming up. I'm going to be in a swimsuit. So I'm cutting out all of these things and I'm only eating this. I can remember just eating canned tuna with like mustard, like no calories, and now I just like laugh at that. But not if anyone else is into that, totally okay. But, thinking about the ways that I would look at an event or, I'm going to go to this music festival. I'm going to be wearing like really small short shorts and like little crop tops. And how am I going to prepare for that? So I feel that's like the dieting fad or the whole 30 days of just whole foods and, kind of as a reset, as a cleanse almost. And for me, it was leading up to something generally. And yeah, much as Batsheva said, I'm not really looking for a quick fix. I'm not really looking for something that's, I'm just going to do this for short term. Don't get me wrong. There are still times where it's, okay, I'm focusing on today or I'm focusing on this week. And just like doing that, like not looking at it, zooming out, this is for the rest of my life. Because for me, the smaller steps, the smaller increments are easier. And also, I was also looking for something that's, okay, what is right for my body? And being a nurse for so long, working in the ICU, being able to see, we use all these different treatments, all these different medicines, all these different protocols, and we don't really take into consideration that every body is different. Sure, you're looking at their labs and you're looking at certain things, but what Batsheva and I are getting ready to share with you is a whole new approach. And for me, it was, like the golden ticket. Why isn't everyone doing this? Why isn't every doctor? Why isn't every hospital? Why is this not a standard? And so I'll let you take the lead, Batsheva, since you introduced me.
Yeah, that was a really good tease for the lifetime diet. But I'm going to back up, first of all, because I just realized that somehow my camera was not on this whole time and I just turned it on and it's fine. It's no problem. But I'm just, for any of those random, wonderful followers who actually look at us on YouTube, you're going to see the crazy ass angle of my face from my computer for the first couple of minutes of this. And for those of you listening, you can find us on YouTube. You can actually see our beautiful shining faces. And if you see today's episode, you'll see some crazy ass angle until now. But also I wanted to add, because I really was happy that you mentioned like the opposite of the lifetime diet, which is like the lead up diet to the big event. Totally, I had forgotten. It totally reminded me of in my 20s, I acted in this play called Equus and I had to get naked on stage. And I was like, Mama's going to do a motherfucking diet and workout like there's no tomorrow. I think I had been a vegetarian up until then. And I literally started eating chicken breasts because my actor boyfriend at the time only ate chicken breasts. Like that was like his full on diet every day. Like you said, the tuna with nothing. And it was this rigid diet and I wasn't allowed any sugar. And I remember I stuck to it and I worked out and I looked great. And afterwards, I could not hold on to it, of course. But I remember during that kind of a crash diet, although it was also healthy. It was like a whole kind of 360, but 90s version. So it wasn't that healthy. But also without the sugar, and I didn't even have fruit. I wasn't even allowed fruit. I would start to dream like I was cheating on my diet. And then I would even start to dream that I would wake up from the dream and I'm like, no, it's just a dream. And then I'm like, no, it's real. I would having meta dreams. Like in my dream, I was dreaming that I was cheating. And I thought, wow, this is like what it's to quit heroin. Like it was that hard to quit sugar. So cut to now, at this phase of my life, I super care about what I look like. Obviously, we did the beauty episode. But, the whole, as I started to say, longevity and health thing has become front and center and paramount for me. And as my body kind of went through the years in my 40s, I started to experience way heightened sensitivity to so many foods and drinks that I had never noticed had really affected me so drastically. And I started looking for help with different treatments, this NAET, like sort of allergy treatment that helps you become desensitized to the things you are sensitive to, and that worked as well. But ultimately, I just was really concerned. There's a lot of cancer in my family, and I wanted to make sure that even what I couldn't see was being taken care of and supported by diet. So then, meanwhile, when I was married, I think I may have mentioned this in a previous episode, maybe not, but my ex-husband became like obsessed with the vegan lifestyle. And I know, Chelsea, you can also speak to that. You were vegan for quite a long time, or for the most part. We were fully vegan I was for 3 years. He still is. It's for him. We've been separated over 3 years. So for him, it's been over 6 years. But for me, it was 3 full years of being vegan. And we had the kids basically be vegan unless they were like out of the house, when they would like chomp hamburgers without without us watching. And I felt much better than I had felt, but I definitely didn't slim down. And I didn't feel amazing. I could tell my body was like, whoa, potatoes. Like everything's a potato, and a cauliflower when you're vegan, and an almond, like endless almonds and nuts. And I was like, no, I didn't feel that great, but I just didn't know what else to do. And then exactly literally like almost to the day when my ex moved out, I was like, I might have mentioned this in a past episode, I don't remember, but I was like, I am going to call this Korean doctor who one of our coffee shop clients had told me about had like rocked his world, changed his life. He had lost like 200 pounds and was living his best life, super healthy. And I was like, like I could lose these last 10 pounds. Like, let me see what this guy's all about. I wasn't thinking so much about health. I wanted to look good and I wanted to do something different than what I had done with the ex, because to differentiate, take my maiden name back, change my phone number that he had chosen for me, and choose a new diet. And so I kind of like sight unseen, just through this one random recommendation, I went to see Dr. Peter Yoon in Koreatown, and he was like booked. He had all these clients, and I was actually like happy to see in his office, it was like all different ethnicities and different kind of not just cultural backgrounds, but economic backgrounds, people coming to him. So it was definitely felt like the real deal. Like the people who knew, like the people who discovered him were devotees. And I went in there, and unlike every other practically non-Western medicine doctor, this guy, he does something interesting because he takes your blood and he shows you the blood on the screen. I'll let Chelsea even tell you what he does, but I'll just go ahead and say the experience of what happened. I'll let you like explain since you ended up going, Chelsea. But basically, I went on the diet that ultimately was like the diet he recommended for my body type. He kind of determines like which of 8 body types you are. And the one that I wound up being was the most restrictive diet-wise of all of the possibilities, like no sugar, no wheat, no meat, no chicken, no dairy, no citrus, no roots, no onions, no garlic, no fun. That's my diet. But I decided to go for it. And I'll continue, but I want you to explain also like your journey with Mr. Dr. Yoon.
Okay. So yeah, as I was saying, every body is different. And I remember Batsheva like telling me about this diet that she was doing, that she had been vegan with her ex. And I have been on that journey as well. And whenever I first went vegan, it was such a huge shift in my body. I felt immediately my stomach was flat. I was having a bowel movement every day, which was not normal for me from as long as I can remember. And I was, wow, like this is what normal people feel like. And then I think for me, what really kind of got me doing things differently was all the rave about protein. And, oh, you're vegan? Are you getting enough protein? How are you getting protein? And so I feel like a part of it was hearing all these outsiders like saying that to me. Then I started consuming a lot of nuts, because I was like, oh, well, that's how I'll get my protein. I love nuts, like perfect. Fast forward then, meeting Batsheva, she telling me about this. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd like to see this guy. I'd like to see what he has to say. Maybe there's a way for me to be better than what I am. And sure enough, we tried to get in and book whenever I was going to be out in LA. And he had like fallen off a ladder or something. I don't even know. But I was like, okay, that's just a sign that now is not the time for me. And that's okay. And so let it go. And then fast forward to this most recent visit I just had, and I was able to get in and see him. And what's so amazing to me and really resonates is that he not only talks to you about everything and, like Batsheva said, looks at your blood, but he measures your internal organs with ultrasound to see which ones are largest, because that all plays a factor in how you digest food, how much bile your body is producing. Every organ has its own role, its own job that it does. And then whenever we eat food, it has a different role per se, or kind of switches roles, Maybe it detoxifies and filters things, but then it also, whenever we eat food, it helps us with digestion by releasing bile, by helping us with all these enzymes. And so if we're always constantly like eating these foods that really require a lot more digestive enzymes per se, then we're taking away from what that organ's role is whenever it's not digesting, which digestion is one of the most complex and difficult things for the body to do. I shouldn't say difficult, but it takes a lot of energy for us to digest and really to absorb and receive everything that we're taking in. And so just thinking about that and then, looking at, okay, how big is my liver? How big is my gallbladder in comparison to my lungs, in comparison to my stomach, to everything? And so looking at that and then realizing, oh, this is tailored to my body type. This is tailored to the size of everything inside my body. Not just oh, you're 5'4", 135 pounds. This is what you should be eating. No. And so that was huge for me. And then seeing the blood. And it was also funny because I typically don't eat a lot of bread, but I had been at Batsheva's for a few days and there was just like all this amazing sourdough. And I think I had had bread like every single day that I was there and I could feel it. I was like puffy. I knew it. And of course, went in there and he looks at your blood and tells you whether they're sticky or not, whether the blood cells are sticking together or whether they're nice and plump and floating around and measures the size of them. And yeah, it was a magical experience. And also because I've been on this journey, kind of like much like what Batsheva said, becoming more aware, really paying attention to how does my body feel after eating certain things. There were lots of things I already knew, lots of things. And it was honestly just like reaffirming. It was just more empowerment and more of a reason of why to choose certain foods over others, because then I could tell, oh, yeah, obviously, these are the things that he says aren't great for me. And of course, whenever I eat those things, I don't feel great. I don't sleep great. My stomach doesn't feel great. My skin doesn't look great. Like all of the things, all of the signs. But not everyone recognizes that, or some people, and this was me for much of my life, are just so used to feeling one way that you think that that's normal. But it's not. We're meant to feel vibrant and full of energy. I mean, yes, of course, there are different people who have different energy levels, but for the most part, we're meant to have a level. And so that's really what it has brought to me and just how fascinating it was that it's so personalized.
So just to be clear, this doctor, he uses a technique that's out of Korea that I think was developed in a cancer center in Korea as like an anti-cancer protocol as well as a lifestyle. And apparently the guy who was like the pioneer father of the whole technique, Dr. Yoon was telling us, he lived until like 104 as healthy as an ox, until the very end eating his protocol. And it's called the 8 body type diet. It's not the same thing as eat right for your blood type. So it's nothing to do with the blood type diet. I know that was like big in the 90s and then it was like debunked apparently. But no, this is called 8 body types. And the reason is 8 is just there's only 8 possibilities depending on measurement of your organs, your height and your weight, the ratio, and what Chelsea described. And so, for example, my younger daughter wanted to go get her body type because she was interested in being healthier. And it was so interesting. She has the opposite body type of mine. And he explained that your body type is inherited and you either get your mother's or your father's. There's no possible third option. In fact, he told a story to me the first time of one time the kid did have a different body type from either of the parents. And he was like, kept remeasuring, thinking he was making a mistake as a doctor, like, what's wrong with my tools? What's wrong with me? And later the mother took him aside and he's adopted, or it was a surrogate and the kid doesn't know and please don't tell him. And it was like, oh my goodness. So long story short, I now know what my ex-husband's body type is for sure, because my daughter's is definitely not mine. And she's like supposed to eat meat. She's supposed to eat chicken. She's supposed to have dairy. She's supposed to have sugar. She's supposed to have alcohol. I'm like, fucking bitch. No, I'm just kidding. But like caffeine, like she can have everything I can't have and all of it. And it's all healthy for obviously in moderation. No one's saying like now go like pound any of that, but it's just fascinating. And the thing that really sold me on this, because I just went into it with faith, which is usually what I do when I start something new and exciting that I believe in. You may have heard in my stories, I go all in. And then once I'm deep in the deep waters, am I still swimming? And if I'm still swimming, then I stick with it. And if not, or if there's like something that seems to me healthier, like Chelsea said, you evolve and from the vegan to this, whatever seems to be better for me, I'll go to. But in this case, what Chelsea explained about him drawing your blood and showing it to you on the screen. So you can see, it's not just he's telling you, like you can actually see with your own eyes because as he's projected the little drop of blood onto the screen, you can see the blood if it's sticky, like Chelsea described, or if it's moving and plump and juicy. But the blood cell that he specifically measures is your white blood cell. He like looks around for it. It's not so many like among the red. And then he finds it and he measures it. And I went back to him after 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, and then 2 years just now with Chelsea. And each time my blood cell got bigger and bigger and doubled and almost more than doubled in size. So I'm like, holy shit. I am now like a believer because what do we need to be able to survive in today's crazy ass COVID world? Like a strong immune system. And for me, that was everything, seeing that white blood cell. Now, I will say, On the beauty side of things, as Chelsea knows, I did not lose those last 10 pounds that I wanted to lose. Don't get me wrong, I'm very happy with my body, but I was like, that sucked, because I was thinking it was going to be like the be all end all to everything, internally and externally. Because one of the things he said that is indicated actually for all the diets is white rice. By the way, brown rice, no bueno for many of us, but white rice, great for all of us. So I was eating white rice like a freaking football player. I was like gobbling it because I'm like, it's great for me. It's part of my diet. I'm eating, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I'm eating white rice. And, dark chocolate is like the one thing that's okay for us. Of course, now like cacao is my jam. But like before, I'm like, so chocolate bar, dark chocolate bar. And, normally I would have a piece, but I feel like that piece was getting bigger and bigger and bigger, half a bar, full bar every day. And when Chelsea and I did the detox this year in March, for the month of March, I did it. And you can go back and listen to the episode. We talk about it. I think we did even 1 or 2 episodes talking about it, like during and then after. One of the requirements and protocols of the detox that I did was cut out all the carbs, including rice for the first part of the detox, et cetera, and the dark chocolate. So after that, I didn't add back in ever the amount of rice I had been eating before. Now I have like my sushi here and there, a little bit, but I kind of discovered buckwheat. I discovered making spaghetti squash with my spiralizer. I discovered different ways to round out my meal other than white rice, and definitely not bread because I can't eat, gluten, definitely can't have potatoes, can't have root vegetables. And I dropped the last 10 pounds, which for me was a goal for like a long time, and I've maintained it. So I guess like what I'm saying is there's 2 important aspects to any long-term diet. If you care about, the way you feel and if you look and you care about your longevity, then, kind of just taking all of those things into account.
Yes, I remember you talking about the white rice specifically. And it's funny because I remember our dog Gypsy having like an upset stomach, and Hunter's dad was just give her some white rice, Well, so we had made this white rice, and then I was like giving it to her because I didn't want to waste it. So I was like, I'll just give her a little bit more until it's all gone. And I was like, wow, she's really put on the pounds. And then I realized like, oh, it's our rice packing it on. So yeah, the second that she was no more rice, she was like slim again. So it's interesting. So we'll tag Dr. Peter Yoon and his website.
I don't know if he even has a website, but I'll take a look.
Well, I know that the 8 Body Type has a website. They do for sure. And maybe we'll just put like a link to his office. So if you're in the LA area or plan to make a trip, if this speaks to you and you're like, oh, I want to know what my body type is. Again, I have never seen any doctor do this before, measure like this. And yeah, this is the first I've ever heard of it. I've been in healthcare for over 15 years. So this is really amazing and life-changing for me. And I can definitely say that I can feel the difference. Like I've been doing this for 2 months now, not as strict as I'm going to get to. I've been easing my way into it. But the days that I follow it 100%, I can really tell. I can tell in my mood. I can tell in the way I feel, all of it, energy levels, everything. So highly recommend.
He did say to us, I remember because we wound up having the same, I don't know if we shared that, Chelsea and I wound up having the exact same body type, like the totally restrictive one, just by coincidence. And he did say that people who have ours, like of the 8, because ours is the most restrictive, generally can only or do only keep up like 65% of it. And that even that is amazing and will change, your body for the better. But he was like, what's most important is happiness. Do you remember he said that? And we were both like, yes, exactly. Like above any diet, it's our consciousness, it's our joy, it's our happiness. That is number 1. Number 2 is the physical world and how we support ourselves to be healthy and happy.
Yeah. And so for me, if anyone wants a little clarification on what that happiness means, it means, especially like this past weekend, like I was at a wedding and at a baby shower, and there were things at both places that maybe aren't specifically on the diet, but it's okay. I'm here to enjoy, to celebrate. And like a big part of our Western world, or I mean, any world and culture really, is like the food, and it's sharing it with those that you love. And it's, celebrating and enjoying life and enjoying the sweet moments. And so that's kind of how we have taken it. And even Dr. Peter Yoon, he said, in the beginning, he was strict, like, nope, if it's not on the diet. And he said, as he's gotten older and wiser, he's come to realize that happiness is a big part of it. And I really respect that. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up.
I think so.
So the honeymoon, we were actually, before we hopped on here, we were talking about the honeymoon phases. And yeah, so our honeymoon phases of our diets are coming to mine, I guess, is just beginning, because I've just learned about this new Eat Right for My Body type, or my A body type. I just figured out which one of those I am. And so it's new and it's exciting, and, it's fun to like learn about for me. And then whenever the honeymoon phase is over, it's like, this is what it is. So, and Batsheva is past her honeymoon phase. She like knows it inside and out. She knows what's good for her, what's not, whether it's on the diet or not. I still reference the little pamphlet and kind of look at things, but it's all part of the journey.
I'm fully committed now. I'm like in a committed relationship with this diet now. We are past the honeymoon phase, but I'm still in love, so it's good. I guess that also teases next week's episode, because we will be talking about the honeymoon phases of all things in life: relationships, work, friends, experiences. Stay tuned.
Okay, so as we like to close off each of our episodes, we're going to do what we call our daily W. And so my win for the day is going to be that I got to sleep in and not to shame myself for it. It used to be a big thing of like, anytime I gave myself extra rest or I wasn't going, that I would kind of be a little critical, and I'm not. I'm happy to say that I'm out of that phase, and I am bragging about it, that I slept in today and I'm feeling so rested. We had a long drive from Colorado and multiple events, and I was also doing some work while I was there, and so feels good to be back and to have taken care of myself and allowed myself to sleep in without any guilt. And my wow, I am super grateful. Last night we got to deliver some things for some friends that had also went to the wedding in Colorado, and they were flying, and so they had some extra things. And we got to take it over to them. And the wow is that I'm so grateful that we showed up when we did, because they had just prepared dinner and they invited us to stay. And we got to enjoy a meal with their 3 beautiful children, who are so full of life and their own uniqueness. And yeah, just to share that time. So super grateful that everything flowed and allowed that opportunity.
So happy that you got all those great experiences and that you let your sleep in. Yay, yay, yay. With no guilt. Awesome. So my W for today, my wish is, I feel a little embarrassed by it, honestly. So I'm forcing myself to say it out loud, which is, I'm reading this book. Okay, first I read the Ione Sky, or I listened to the audiobook of the Ione Sky memoir. A friend gifted it to me for my birthday, and it's so much fun, especially if you're Gen X. Like, oh my goodness, like it's a tell-all. It's really juicy. She mentions this book at one point that was referred to her because she was living with a heroin addict, called Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. And that book came out like in the 80s, but I'm in a relationship right now, a new relationship, and I see like little flare-ups of little tendencies within me that I'm not loving. And I thought to myself, is this codependency? And I don't know that much about that term other than like a little dabbling here and there into that sort of world, and of like Al-Anon and everything. So I got the book. I got it on the audio library app, and I'm listening to it. And she actually just revised it, the author, like recently. So it's not, so I thought, oh, maybe it's going to be super dated, but it's not. It's updated. And it's definitely pulling up some deep things within me, because I recognize, blessedly and thankfully, a lot of my older habits and my older tendencies and things that no longer are real for me now. But it's still a little bit like, oh, I don't feel great that that was me for so long of my life. It's like, feels kind of tough. And so my wish is to completely, fully, and wholly eradicate all and every remnant of codependency from myself, my energetic body, my heart and soul, and to become radically and radiantly autonomous with full agency and independence and freedom, and to live from that place and love from that place and move forward into life from that place.
Wow. What a wish. That is incredible. I love it. Love it. And I'm wishing that for you also. And for anyone else who has heard of this, codependency was definitely, as soon as I started going to therapy, it was one of the first things that I learned about, and also was like, oh, I don't like that about myself. But yeah.
It's tough to like that about oneself, but I guess we need to.
Yeah. Love it. All right.
Love it.
Well, thank you all for joining us. We look forward to connecting again next time. Until then,
don't forget to subscribe and like and share. Yay.
Yes. And until then, may your day be brighter.
Bye.